It's my privilege to be able to introduce to you for the next speaker, Peymon Mottahedeh. And of course everybody knows who Peymon is. What can you not say about Peymon? There's so many great things. And if you don't know Peymon very well, if this is your first Freedom Rally or first time at a Freedom Law School event, let me tell you a few things. Peymon is one of the most energetic, creative patriots in the movement. You know, one of the things that the freedom movement and the patriot movement gets criticized for sometimes is having cliques. You know, people kind of go off in their own areas but won't work together. Peymon is one of these type of individuals that's a very positive force in the freedom and patriot movement. And he's worked for quite a number of years now to try to bring people together for unity. And I've never seen anybody that is so good at doing that and such a positive force. You know, he's one of the most unselfish guys, honest and fair. And one of the things when I first met Peymon a few years ago, I was real impressed and have been since, how he helps other organizations with all the events that he does and all the other activities. And you know, that's pretty fantastic, and that's what we need in this movement to take back our country and freedom. He's also one of the best researchers I've ever seen. You know, he knows what he's talking about. He's got a lot of credibility because he's researched, he's been there, he's done it. And you know, with him, again, if you know him, what you see is what you get. And probably one of the best things I can say about Peymon is that he just recently got married. And he's got a beautiful wife. And she's smart, too. How'd you do that, Peymon? You got brains and beauty all like, what happened there? It's my pleasure to introduce Peymon Mottahedeh to you. Give him a warm welcome.
Thank you for that introduction, Charles. The subject of my speech today is how you can become free and prosperous. In 1 hour, I'm going to try to give you as much as I can on those two subjects. My focus is going to be more on freedom, because as one of our students said, without freedom, you can't have fortune. And freedom is more important than fortune. That's why he named his website freedomabovefortune.com. Many of you know what I'm talking about, Mr. Joe Bannister. I think it's a very wise statement he made, because if you don't have freedom, it's only a matter of time before your fortune, whatever it might be, whatever you've built it up to, will be gone as well. You know, and one of the biggest mistakes I see people make in America is that people with money, they're so afraid to do anything because they're afraid to lose it all. Well, I can tell you many, many stories of people who had money too, successful business people who were destroyed to nothing by the IRS or other governmental agencies, and because they did not know about their law and their rights, or what to do about the law and their rights. And so, some of you, let me tell you guys a little bit about my background, because I think it will help you understand where I'm coming from and how I might be able to help you live free now. I am an immigrant from Iran. I was born and raised in a Jewish family. Came here in 1977 and became a naturalized citizen in 1989. Proud American now. I'm glad I'm an American. And my children will be American. Went to school, studied business administration, economics, and I came across the Federal Reserve way back in college and couldn't figure out how the Federal Reserve gets to loan out money that they don't have. You know, even back then I started wondering about those things. And, you know, So I got involved with the freedom law movement, however, in 1992. Because I heard that income tax is voluntary, and I just simply didn't believe it. But, like all of you, I'm sure, but I had open enough mind like you do to go and investigate it, and I did. And I spent, first off, $1,500 with the first group I met, and then another $2,000 to have the license of selling their package to make, I think, 40–50% on commission on it. I figured, hey, if you're going to sell something, I'm going to sell freedom, you know. I sold medical x-ray equipment and film and insurance, you know, different things. You know, I've had my own business before. Hey, you got to do something for a living. I talk about freedom all the time. America's supposed to be a free country, and we're not free. So it was my favorite subject. I was a part-time free activist for the Libertarian Party of Orange County, California. So why not make a living at it? So to me, it was a natural, actually, getting into all this. And way back in 92, 3, and 4, 5, those days, there was no internet or nowhere like it. It was very infancy stages. So you could not go to all these websites, get information about freedom ideas like today you have. Back then, you had to go to a seminar that somebody put together like this. And let me tell you, we mailed out these brochures to close to 10,000 people, and over 1,000 more, 1,500 more got sent out by other activists like you around the country, and you can see the results. People are not showing up to meetings like they used to. But back then, you could put a simple one-page flyer, no mailer, just a word of mouth, and then you have 1,500 people showing up from the local community. Many of you drove or flew from faraway places to be here. But you have 1,500, 200 people, not a strange thing at all. It's quite common. So I took every single one of those seminars that came along. Kind of like you, some of you went on the internet and just clicked on every, link here to this guy's website and that guy's website. And, I went through the same stuff you went. This guy says you gotta do A to be free, this one says you gotta do B to be free, this one says C, and then this one says D, and this one says F. And then someone says a little bit of this, a little bit of the other one, and who's right, who's wrong. How can I trust anybody? How do I know who's got the right answer, right? Well, it reminds me of my 21, well, it's not 21 anymore, 24-year-old sister now, who didn't know even anything about cars, including how to check air, water, and oil in her car. Some of you might think, come on, you don't know how to do that? Yes, a lot of people still don't know how to do that. A lot of young females probably don't know how to do that. I don't know how to sew a button on a shirt, quite frankly, but I'm sure if I wanted to learn, took the time, I could learn it. Just never bothered my wife to ask her, hey, how do you do that? I'd rather pay someone else to do it. And fortunately, I can find plenty of people who sew buttons for me. But about freedom, there are not as many out there who know anything, and many of the people out there are giving out wrong information because they don't know better. For the first 2.5, 3 years in the freedom movement that I was involved, and I got involved right away, started teaching local classes, within a year and helping people as much as I could, with a limited amount that I did. I was preaching information which was a lot of it was wrong. Plain wrong. Had no legal backing. If you were to look it up in the law library, what I told people in 1992 and 93 and 94, a lot of it simply wasn't there, or was out of context. I wasn't a bad guy. I didn't mean to put out wrong information. I didn't know. Nobody, had taken the time to tell me. In fact, Bill Conklin to this day is the only one I know that got into the freedom movement and from right off the bat never got into any of these misinformation that's out there. The only one, and the reason for that is because he was a teacher, he had a master's in communication, and knew how to look things up in the law library. So if somebody told him something, he went and looked it up in the law library. But that's such an easy thing to do.